hype up, chat. Like, let's have a lot of fun. Even the guys over in Infinity, let's go over to support our brothers over in Legacy. Those guys have worked really, really hard to get to the point where they are at. It is season 2 for them right now. They are in the, I believe it's the wild card round. They just started the playoffs. Get over to their chats, have some fun, tune in, let them know that Infinity over here loves them, and we expect the same thing back from them. So it's not anything that it should be a community project that we are all doing this together and all having fun together. I gotta give a huge sad bit of news. Chef has decided to walk out. It was not anything personal. Dude's just got a ton of work on his schedule. He's raising a family. You got to work extra hours, man. Your family comes first. Your work comes first. I completely get it. Much love to you, Chef. Hope everything works out well for you. We do have Blessed Henny coming into play. He is from a league that Pollux was a part of. So huge shout out to you guys for getting over here. It should be a lot of fun. Look forward to having you in the division, bro. The other thing I wanted to touch on real quick is these high-scoring games, right? So people who have hit me and they're like, yo, are 80-plus games? Like, so we had a score the other night where somebody scored 80. Then we had a score last night where Kansas City in Infinity scored 75. And people have been reaching out to me and be like, hey, is this kosher? Like, are we wanting guys to score this much? No, we're not. Right, so I went back and I watched the Kansas City game already. I haven't had a chance to shout out the user, but I'm not somebody that's going to hide anything. You guys, we have to do better jobs of maintaining time of possession, right? What I'm seeing a lot with these high-scoring games is quick, long passes and quick turnovers and really shitty field of or position on the field. And guys aren't starting with having to drive 80 yards or having to drive 40 yards. And it's all accumulating into one big thing. So if you guys are wanting to see realistic scores in your games, you guys are going to have to be the ones that do that. You need to make sure that you are controlling the ball. You need to make sure you're keeping the opponent's offense off the field as much as you can. Get first downs. Like, don't strive to get a touchdown every single pass or every single run. You're looking to shorten the field. You are looking to get into third and shorts. You are looking to get into second and mids. You don't want to sit here and just dart, 3 and out, let him go score. And now all of a sudden it's 50-0 at halftime. You're like, this isn't fun. Of course it's not fun because you aren't playing in a way that's realistic. So you guys got to do a better job on that. It is what it is. So I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but if you guys want to see better scores, you got to play more realistically. It is what it is. We're going to take a really quick commercial break. When we come back, we are going to sit down with our Buffalo Bills user. We are going to hear about the Bills. We are going to hear about his thoughts on the overtime rules that just kind of happened. We're going to talk about Madden, and we are going to talk about his hometown of Brazil. Guys, we will be right back. We are back. Oh no! Okay, so this is where I messed up. There we go. Now we're good. We got you, bro. Yo, so we've got in, I want to make sure I say this right because I'm dyslexic and I always say it wrong. We've got FH1S. What does that stand for? Yo, I'm really excited to have you on, brother. So, you've been in the community for a little while. You've been on the wait list, right? We decided to get the second league going. As soon as I told you Buffalo was available, I did not realize you were as big as a Buffalo fan. You are from Brazil. Let us know how this whole love for the Buffalo Bills even started. Yeah, we got time. Mm-hmm. 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 Ah. Right. Hold on. Just a second. They can't hear you, and I have to figure out why. It should take me just a quick second. I can hear you just fine. Let me figure out why. We are not getting you, though. This is the first time I haven't been able to hear you. Properties. Hold up, guys. We will hear him in just a second. I might have to completely put on a different audio thing for you. I don't know why this would not have you. Let's go here. Let's add, yeah, because it's hooked up directly to the Yeti. Guest audio 2. And then let's just find out why. Device. How about now?
Hey, can you hear me? All good now?
I hope they can.
Let's wait and see.
Mo's mic. Yeah, this is... It's still not showing. Oh, try now. Try now. Yes, it can. They can. Yes.
Yeah?
We are good. All right, so let's start it again because I want them to get
Okay,
let's How
go.
Did you become a Buffalo Bills fan in Brazil?
Okay, first of all, thank you for having me here, right?
Yes.
I'm here on my sort of studio since I have a podcast show for Brazilian Bills fans, right?
And we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. And yeah, I started as to follow football because of my first contact was through the Super Bowls, right? Because back in the 90s we didn't have football on TV here, only the Super Bowls, right?
Right.
And I was like, the first time I watched this Super Bowl, I was like 6 or 7, and it was the wide right game. All right. Thank God I wasn't. I couldn't understand nothing about that game, so I didn't suffer. All right. But I fell in love with the logo. I fell in love with the colors, and I fell in love with Thurman Thomas running around. So I was like, okay, that's my football team. And since the Bills could come back year after year to the Super Bowl, so it was easier to stay in touch with that team as a young kid in the 90s living in Brazil, right? And that's the way I picked Buffalo to be my team, all right? They never could win it all, but I stayed loyal for a long time, and also Madden had played a part on that, but I think we'll talk it sooner, right?
Yeah, we will. So let's talk about being a football fan in Brazil as you're growing up, because I know soccer is really big, and I know they call it football over there. What was it like though, going to school and telling everyone, "Yo, I love the NFL. I love this other game they're playing." That couldn't have been something that was widely popular.
No. Back in the day, it wasn't even possible to talk about this, because nobody knew about what was I talking about, and so it was like, okay, I had my soccer team here. I was a big fan. I grew up and I became a professional soccer player here, right?
Okay.
That's me out there. Okay, I played soccer professionally, like for 16 years as a goalkeeper.
Okay.
All right. I played for some pretty big clubs here, Grêmio, Vitória, and played in lower league divisions too. All right, mostly. But I always loved football. Always tried to follow the Bills as close as I could. When I was really young, as I said, it was really difficult because internet was a new thing back in the day, and so it was difficult to follow it closely. I could start following it really closely after 2000, all right? And that's when I really started to understand the game better and to really fell in love with the game, okay?
Right, so 2000, if you're 37, 2000, that's about my same age, that would put you at about a freshman, sophomore in high school, right?
Yep.
So from about that time, you dive into the love of the NFL and the love of the Buffalo Bills. At what point did that love go, I need to start playing Madden?
Oh, Madden was a thing aside, okay, that helped with my growth as a football fan and understanding the game, because when I was like 7 or 9, it was in 91 when the Super NES was launched. Okay, and my dad used it to work for a pretty big company here in my hometown, Blumenau, in Brazil. Okay, and he traveled to the U.S. to see machines, see business stuff. Okay, and when he got back, he brought me Super NES. But it was crazy, man, because it's not like today, a video game launch today, we know all around the world about it, right? But back in the day when he brought me the Super NES, people here in Brazil had no idea about what the heck is this video game, you know? They were like, oh, it's a Nintendo. No, it's a Master System. No. What's that? Super Nintendo? It doesn't exist. They were like this, you know? And I tried to buy games, and we didn't have games to play. Only Super Mario, because it came together with the Super NES, right? And okay, it was late in 91. So in 92, okay, Madden was the first game that arrived here for Super NES other than Mario. So I had no choice. I was like, okay, or I play Madden, or I don't play nothing, only Mario, right? So I started to play Madden, and Buffalo was great there too. And I was like, oh, that's my team, Buffalo. So I would play as Buffalo, and that's the way I started playing Madden really early, like Madden 91, 92, all right? And that's the way I fell in love with the game too.
Yo, it's very similar. So I grew up in Arizona my entire life, right? The Arizona Cardinals though didn't arrive here until they got here in '88. I was born in '86. Up until like as I was starting to grow up though, the Cardinals were not a team that the Arizona fans that they were not fans of, because for up until '88 they were all fans of Dallas, right? Because Arizona was in St. Louis, or the Cardinals were in St. Louis. Yeah. So as the Cardinals got here, you would go to like home games, and they would be at like a college stadium. It'd be at ASU, and the entire stadium would be like all fans from other teams, and very, very few Cardinal fans. It was a transplant team, right? Well, then I got my fanhood. I became this huge fan, but it wasn't until Madden started to be released where I started to have some control over the game or control over my players that I really developed into becoming like this hardcore NFL fan. So it's very, very interesting, the parallels, even from Brazil to the United States and Arizona, that those would kind of coincide, that Madden kind of helped develop that love of the game of the NFL and of football.
Oh, absolutely, man. I remember, like, especially in the late 90s, early 2000 games, all right? Like when we had Eddie George on the cover, I think it was 2000 maybe. And so I remember those Buffalo rosters, like, I couldn't watch the game. I couldn't follow it closely because internet was starting to grow, you know, and to watch the games were really tough back in the day. And I remember those rosters with Travis Henry, Sean Bryson, Alex Van Pelt, and those kind of guys, you know, and that's the way I could recognize the players when I saw something about the Bills, but mainly on Madden, you know, and playing Madden and building a repertoire with the team this way, you know.
Yeah, no, very similar. That's how I started to develop the ability to know about contracts, was seeing Madden's thing, because up to that point I had no idea that the NFL was run on money the way that it does, or the teams were run how they do financially. So you're 100% right. Madden absolutely developed all of us into figuring out how to do this realistically. So as unrealistic as the product can be currently, they did do their part. All right, one of the things that I thought was the coolest part about this is not only are you able to play the Bills here, but from Brazil, you have a Buffalo Bills podcast that you do pretty frequently. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. It's called Leading the Charge, okay? And I used, actually, just like you asked me before, where could I interact with other Bills fans or other football fans? And actually, when internet became a thing, and I joined Buffalo Rumblings from SB Nation, okay? And they had a great community there, and I started to interact there and write a post here and there, okay? And I was called to write about the Bills for a website, okay? 24/7 football news. It's not a thing anymore. It's not friend. It was from the previous owner closed the website, became a friend of mine, but he's a big Lions fan. A shout out to him, Kieran. And after I got some experience writing about the Bills, Cover One, Bills fans, people from Buffalo should be familiar with them. Cover One is a blog website that covers the Bills. They do a great job covering the Bills, and I had the honor to be writing for them for like 5 or 6 years. So I was a professional soccer player, and in the time I was in the hotels waiting for the games or relaxing after practice or something like that, I was writing about the Bills for Cover One, right? And just this, before the start of this season, I decided to go digital. I think it's taking over the digital media, right? And the podcast over written stuff. And I started my own podcast here in Brazil, talking about the Bills. I sometimes have guests from the US, from Cover One team, from Buffalo Rumblings, from the friends I made through Twitter mainly, and Buffalo Rumblings chats, right? But mainly it's in Portuguese. Mainly it's for the Bills Mafia here in Brazil. It's we have a small fan base here about the Bills. Okay, football is growing really fast here in Brazil, but a lot of Patriots fans, a lot of Packers fans, a lot of Broncos fans, because when it started really to grow, Manning was with the Broncos, right? And but our fan base is starting to grow more again, obviously, because the success of the team. But we have a lot of people from our age. I'm from '84, okay, so around our same as almost the same age as you. So we have a lot of people from this era who are Bills fans, and it's going great, man. It's really a pleasure to talk Bills to all Bills Mafia here and to be able to bring people from the US to talk it to. It's been really a great experience.
Yeah, I love that the NFL has been going international the last few years, and as the NFL, what I've noticed is that as the NFL continues to go international, SPA actually becomes international as well. We've got members from Canada, we've had members from Mexico, we've now got a member from Brazil. Like it seems like the more the NFL is trying to become this product, I don't know if we're necessarily seeing all these other countries becoming NFL fans, but it is really cool to see just little bits of people like become those fans and then try to find their own outlets like what we have here. Like you have to get that itch scratched somewhere. So it's really cool to see that like that whole thing transition in real time, because it's definitely had an impact on what we do here at SPA. Let's actually talk about the NFL. The Bills just played, right?
Oh boy, I'm heartbroken still, man. I can't get over those 13 seconds, man. My goodness, it's crazy.
Bro, I shouldn't say never. They might have happened in the past, but I cannot remember a time that a team looked that dominant up till 13 seconds and it looked like they were going to win. But I put it in the chat, like, this is what you pay Patrick Mahomes $40+ million for. Like, you expect him to get down there and score the field goal. And then with $40 million, you expect him to get the ball in overtime and you expect him to go down there and score a touchdown. If he doesn't, what are you paying the man $40 million per year for? Having said that, Josh Allen takes the lead with 13 seconds left and never touches the ball again. Do you think that's fair?
No, it isn't. I think we've been through these things that Mahomes didn't having the opportunity back 3 or 4 years ago against the Pats, right? Against the Patriots, and it was the same kind of talk, right? So I think it's past the time the NFL look into this and change this rule, because I think everybody was fired up. Not everybody, because I'd rather win the coin flip and let Josh score a touchdown and never see Mahomes again, right? But every football fan, right? Every football fan outside of Buffalo and KC, I think they were like, okay, now I want to see like one shot each maybe, or something like that give you a fair opportunity for both studs quarterbacks to score, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they need to look into it, but I'm not like, oh, I'm really sad because of the rule, you know. I can't get over Sean McDermott's decisions, you know, in
Right.
those 13 seconds. He had his interview, his end of the year press conference yesterday, and he said that execution was a problem. He wanted a squib kick, not a kickoff. It's huge. It's major, in my opinion. Looking at the kicker, looking at the special teams coach, right? Because if the head coach wanted it squibbed and they kicked it off like for a touchback, it's a big mistake, right?
Right.
And then after it, in the 13 seconds, like going prevent, protecting the sidelines, like they had 2 timeouts to call, like no reason to protect the sidelines, you know. And even I heard Rex Ryan recently talking something, and that's ironic because Rex was awful for us, but but he was completely right. Like, okay, in this situation, man, play your normal zone defense. You don't need to rush 4 guys, rush 2 guys. Put 1 man coverage in Tyreek Hill, 1 man in Travis Kelce, and play your normal zone defense. And make Mahomes read something,
Right.
hold the ball a bit, because you need the clock ticking, right? So you have the clock in your favor. So I think the calls were really pathetic, and after timeouts, we're talking about the number 1 ranked defense in the league. We're talking about Sean McDermott, a defensive guru. We're talking about Leslie Frazier, a potential head coach next year in the NFL, a former head coach in the NFL. So I think they were really in shock. They really did an awful job there. And man, when I look at Josh Allen's face after the game, like the guy did everything he could. He did Brian Dable, all the offense side of the ball. They did an amazing job. They won the game twice to see the defense lose it 3 times, right?
Yep.
And I think the fear of the loss was bigger than the will of the win for McDermott, you know, and it cost it a lot for us. And I used to say, thank God I couldn't watch that forward pass against Titans in 2000. I wasn't watching the game, and I'm thankful because I used to say like, oh, I don't know what would happen if I was watching that game. It was a 1 game decided with the return by the Titans,
Right.
lateral or not. You know, it was devastating. But now I know how I would have felt, you know, because I can't get over it, man. It's really heartbroken.
Yeah,
Okay?
as somebody that my Cardinals have only been to the Super Bowl once, and we lost in the way that we lost, I completely feel you, man. It is not fun to lose. Having said that, you mentioned something that is actually a sticking point for me, and that is the referee. So one of the things I think the NFL is doing currently is they're kind of stuck in the past, right? When you have all of these different ways that you can track the ball, or you can track impact, or you can track these things, the things that bother me are like when they place the ball at bad spots, and then coaches have to challenge them and like it should have been like an extra yard here, or all these. I really think the NFL can get progressive and just microchip these balls, and wherever that chip lands when the knee comes down, you should be able just to be like, yeah, it's right here, like it's right there. So I feel like they're purposely working in the past when they could be taking steps progressively to get better. But yeah, it definitely is something that bothers me when it comes to a lot of the NFL stuff. I do think they're pretty much stuck in the past. Let's talk Brazil a little bit more, because it's really interesting to me that you are able to play a lot of these games because I believe you're 2 hours ahead of us time-wise, right? On the East Coast?
Yeah, it's Eastern. Yeah. It's time 2+ hours. Yeah.
Let me just ask you
It's
this.
like
And
3:30 p.m. right now.
right. Let me ask you this. When it comes to wanting to engage with a community that is not part of, your immediate circle, right? When there's such a huge time difference, what are some things you have to do in your life to make sure you are able to accommodate all of these other people that are wanting to have the same experience that you do?
Oh man, first of all, nowadays I'm a retired soccer player, right? So I need to work a lot because I didn't earn a lot of money to be able to just relax right now. Okay, so I teach English here,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a goalkeeper coach at the Inter Milan Academy here in
Okay.
Brazil. One of the Inter Milan academies here in Brazil, right, in the south part. And so right now I'm not working full time. It will start next month in February with people back in class, right? So, but I most of the time, especially against when I play against Eastern time people, I think it's easier because 2 hours isn't really that bad for me. I used to go to bed late, so I can take it, and I usually have no problems to find the time to play Eastern people. West Coast guys are a bit more tricky, right? Because 5 hours difference
Yeah.
sometimes it's a big time difference. So sometimes I stay up really late, and sometimes people can play a little bit earlier or even in the morning, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this way, I've been able to play most of my games. I think in Legacy, since I joined Legacy in SPA, I've been able to play all my games. Today, I played Titans today, and he could play 10 a.m. his time, so it was great for me because it's noon here, right?
Right.
So most of the time, I can figure it out and find a way. My wife sometimes is mad at me, right? Because she's like, "Oh, come on, man, it's kid stuff," and I'm like, "No, it's not. I'm playing a league for grown men. Come on." And
Yep.
she's like, "No, oh my goodness, I can't believe you were gonna play it again." And I'm like, "Okay, go to bed. I'm going later, and and I can play my games this way, right?" But yeah,
Why
sometimes it's a bit tricky.
wives in Brazil are a lot like wives in the United States.
Oh, it doesn't change, man. Only the address change, I think.
No, it doesn't. She tells me all the time. She's like, "You get this involved in something that's fake." I'm like, "It's not fake. 31 other people view this as realistically as I do. If we're all doing this realistically, it's not fake." She's like, "Dude, it's fake."
Absolutely.
But it's fun, man. It's fun. It's good to have an outlet that you can still like. For me, I played sports my entire life, right? Until it got to a point where people are like, "Yeah, we don't really want to see you play sports anymore. We're not giving you scholarships. We're not paying you to play professionally. We don't really want to see you play sports anymore, Mo." So it's like they stopped me from doing this. So this is like my only outlet to still feel like I have that competitive like sport, like where I'm in control. So it's fun for me. One of the things I gotta share a quick little story on is you are a goalkeeper, right? You did that professionally. Do you know that I
Yeah.
tried to be a goalkeeper once in my life?
Oh, that sounds fun, man.
Yeah, I had to have been like 10 or 11 years old. It was my very first
Okay.
game. I caught a ball square, bam, right in my noggin,
All right.
right? Never wanted to do that job again.
Yes, it's sometimes pretty painful, pretty difficult, but that was my only way to go professionally. So I stayed. Uh, I was like, I don't know which word can I use, but I persevered on it.
I do think it would be good. So I do channel stuff on my stuff where I put myself in really shitty situations if we hit certain numbers on the channel, right? And one of the things that I've wanted to do is go be a goalkeeper for somebody that's actually really really good and go put myself like try to like stop them and do it live on camera and let people see what it looks like as an amateur to like go goalkeep a professional soccer player. I think it could probably be pretty scary, but it would probably be a lot of fun. So it's definitely something that's on the to-do list. So maybe I'll have to hit you up for any pointers at some point.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Let me know.
We're going to take a really quick commercial break. As we come back, we're going to talk to you about Infinity. We're going to talk about some of the stuff we can do to help international, to help make sure that you have all the support that you need. Guys, we will be right back. All right, FH, let's talk SPA now. So we've got your background, we've got the Bills podcast, we've got how you in Brazil have developed this love of the NFL, the Bills, and of Madden. Now that brings you to current day. You're in SPA. We try to provide the most realistic experience possible. What is it that drew you here?
Oh, I think it's been really fun, all right, because I'm all about sim gameplay. I'm all about trying to replicate what we see on in real life, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a run first player in Madden right now, but it really does have to do with the way the Bills play in real life
Mm-hmm.
too, because man, let's be fair. I'm really enjoying to having an X Factor quarterback. I never had it as a Bills fan my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always playing with Van Pelt, Bledsoe, who couldn't move at all, and then other guys. Oh, J.P. Losman, Trent Edwards, E.J. Manuel, Tyron Taylor, Fitz. So come on, right? I always rush the ball all the time. I used to run with all my guys all the time because running backs always were great for Buffalo. But right now we have a pass happy offense, right? And I try to replicate that and complement the pass game with the run. And but like you said before I joined you here, it's major to try to play it realistically, right? You need to try to control the ball possession, avoid turnovers at all costs, okay? Play field position because turnovers, especially interceptions, you throw a pick, a guy starts the campaign in your side of the field. It's like a 3 points guaranteed in Madden, even more against a really good offense.
Right.
So I think it's major. I think it's a big part. If everybody really tries hard to play the right way, trying to score, but also, you have a lot of great opponents there. You need to score, but don't give them the ball a lot, right? It's more or less like the Bills and Chiefs in the last game. You can score, but the guy who have the ball and the chance he scores too is big. So you need to be careful. And I think when I played people like these scores have been realistic. Maybe a bit high, but nothing major. And now when the game starts to be a complete shootout and everybody passing all the time and running from behind, it starts to be a higher scoring game. But it's been really fun. I think some people maybe needs an adjustment time to, because they are also playing in other leagues where you play less minutes and you need to be more explosive and find a balance, find a way to play in SPA. I think it's been really fun and I've been enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, one of the things you said I think is key. It's that when you come here, the mentality has to change. That I'm going to play this like a Madden game. We've set the sliders that if you just throw deep a lot, you're probably going to throw a lot of interceptions. So one of the things that I did in my game against the LA Rams, right? I have 3 different plays in a bunch look, right? And in all 3 plays, the tight end motions over. And he goes like on a motion over and then he runs deep. In one of those plays, my outside receiver cuts in. On the other run, my outside receiver cuts out. And on the third play, it's a draw. I try to run all 3 of those plays the first half. But what I do is I try to target the tight end pretty much so that as you start seeing that stuff in the second half, it opens up the rest of my routes because you're going to try to double team the guy that's now going outside. Those are what we want to see from our users. I don't want to see people just picking plays to pick plays. We want to see you picking plays because this is going to set up something for later. I'm going to be more open with blank because I've been doing this. And that is more of a chess than it is checkers. I think a lot of the high-scoring games we get here are guys just playing the game like it's checkers. I'm just calling plays and I'm just moving up and down the field and I throw picks and I get picks back and I fumble, I get fumbles back, we score, they score, and we just go. The games that I love to see are those chess matches where Yeah, I'm gonna have to punt, and you're gonna have to punt because we're constantly trying to outthink each other and set pieces up for later. And I really like the chess match that can come with these games. So that would be my best advice to anybody out there listening. If you're wondering how can I get my scores to be a little bit more realistic, I would highly encourage you to treat this game like it's a chess game and not just like it's scoring at will. Um, Having said that,
And Mo,
yes,
just one thing, like some minor stuff maybe, or something that people might not pay attention sometimes, but like, oh, I'm playing and I'm winning two scores lead, right? Okay, I can play to score more. It's two scores, and
yep,
with a huge clock, huge time in the clock, still people can come back easily sometimes
yep,
from two scores. But I'm playing to score, but I can't go like 3-and-out with 3 passes and the clock don't run out
no,
even a bit. You know, it's
facts.
it's it's in real life, like it gets people fired. You know, I will try to advance. I will try to score, but I will make the clock run. I will try to keep that offense a little bit off out of the field. You know, and this kind of stuff. In the same way, sometimes people are losing really big, or I'm losing really big, and oh, it's like 4 minutes left, and I don't know, 5-score game. Man, run the ball and
Yes.
end this thing. You know, you keep forcing, throwing turnovers, and then after the turnover, you will run the ball, and the guy send blitzes, and you pass to gain a first down, so you can erase the
Yep.
clock, and they are mad because oh, you are being aggressive. No, it needs to be both sides, right? I think
Yes.
we need to take it as a real game and not Madden. We know Madden has a lot of flaws. We know it's sometimes difficult to replicate real life in Madden, but I think it is possible if you play the right way with the right mindset. You
Brother,
know,
you are speaking my
my two
language.
cents.
You are 100%. We are on the same page. It is absolutely about both opponents doing everything they can to provide a sim experience. So when these blowouts start kind of happening, like you're saying, and people are like, "You're still throwing on me." Well, I throw, I stay in bounds. I'm just trying to get first. If I get first, I can pretty much get a first and second down. If I run it, if I do a screen, if I do a really quick short pass, the clock's still going, and I'm able to continue getting down the field without making it unbearable for the opposition. Like we both want to get this game over with. Blowouts are not fun for anybody. It's not fun for the team that's blowing somebody out because in your head you're like, fuck. If I keep doing something, they're gonna get me on like rule violations, or I'm gonna make myself look like a cheese ball. So
Yeah.
you're as the winning team, you're like, I really got to play this down. I don't want to do something that's breaking the rules. But on the other side, this guy's not letting up either. And if he's going to play in a way that's now starting to become unsim because he's just trying to score, well, what am I supposed to do? So it really gives you this like parallel where you're constantly trying to play in a way it's realistic without getting in trouble. And I completely get it. Blowouts are not fun for anybody. But if the people that are losing, I do think they are the ones that are in more control over how fast these games get done. If they message me, if I'm winning and somebody messages me like, yo, this game is done, can we do our best to get it out? Absolutely. I'll run out the clock, but you do the same. Don't sit there and just blitz and blitz and blitz and blitz, and then when you get the ball, try to throw it through the air and expect me just to
Yeah.
run it. Like, if you want this game done, let's get it done. You know, let's get it over. So I completely agree with you there. You've now had six games or 5 games?
5 games, five. Yeah, I think so. 5 games.
Okay, so 5 games. You had a pretty good idea of what these sliders, what we're looking for. Where would you adjust these sliders going forward? What would you like to see?
I think it's going well, man. I think it's going really well. I think I don't know. I think sliders are tough because when I started playing Madden, I used to mess with it a lot because I played offline, you know, and got slider hits every Madden.
Yep,
All
same.
right, from Operation Sports and things like that.
Yep.
But I think it's tough to find um, something that really works. I think it's in a good way right now. I think I always think it's mostly on the way we play than the sliders. You know, if we don't play correctly, if you don't play with a mindset of sim ball instead of lobby ball or competitive ball or something like that, and it doesn't matter. The sliders won't be alone making the game perfect, right? We know Madden has issues. We know Madden will always be Madden, and sometimes they try things differently, and the game starts in a way that's promising, and a lot of people argues about that, and they patch it, and the game comes back to the same stuff we are used to. So I like the way it is right now. I think it's mostly on us to keep it sim. All right. I think some people, especially young people, are too focused on I'm good. I'm a good Madden player. You're bad or something like that. And I don't think it's about that. It's about having fun with a realistic experience. And if people want to be the best player ever to play Madden, go play that EA tournaments and MUT stuff and this kind of stuff that where you can earn some money. I think in SPA it's a place to have a realistic experience, winning or losing. Okay, I lost one game right now and it was really fun, really fun. I bought a battle and obviously we want to win all games, but you can have fun losing games too in your experience in Madden. You just need to have the right mindset and play the correct way. I think you can have a lot of fun playing the right way. I think the sliders are as good as it gets right now.
Yeah, I like the sliders. There are a couple things I'd like to see. Like there's completion percentages are pretty high league wide. There's a couple avenues I think we can continue to take. The good news about where our sliders are at currently is there's still a lot of wiggle room. We've pretty much maxed out defense with where it can go, but offense, there's still a lot of room. We can still mess with quarterback accuracy. We can still mess with receiver catching. We can mess with interceptions. We can mess with offensive line play, rushing numbers, all those different things. We still have a pretty good range that we can adjust. So it is interesting seeing. But we will be doing a lot of checking with our users to see what they kind of think. And every time we do one of these interviews with one of our new people, they're going to get the same opportunity to tell us what they would like to see different. So it's a pretty cool one. Man, my last question for you is, and it's not really even a question. A few days ago, I had a buddy of mine, Brad. He is our Philadelphia Eagles user in Legacy. Over here, he is the Detroit Lions user. I've never met him before in my life, but we've been gaming together for like 7+ years now, right? And
Awesome.
This last weekend was the first time that he was in Arizona, like when I've been here, and he was able to come over. We got to hang out. We got to watch some games. He got to play his games and stuff. Having said that, Brazil has always been a place that I've always wanted to go, and I've always wanted to take my family. How open would you be to doing another one of these shows, but we do it live at some point if I'm ever able to get down to Brazil?
Oh, no doubt about that. The doors are wide open, man. You just need to let me know when you come here, and so Brazil is also a pretty big country, so make sure you make to my side of the country or down south where I live, and we can do it. Maybe near a good beach and drinking something and talking football. It will be really nice.
That would be a blast, man. I really appreciate the time you gave us today. I am so excited to have you here in SPA, man. Out of all of the new users, you were the first guy that I reached out to, and I was like, "Hey, I think you could have a really interesting story here. Let's get you on." I can't thank you enough for your time today, man.
I appreciate. It was really nice, really a blast. I had a blast today here, and I hope all the other members that are watching enjoyed it too. It's a pleasure to be a part of the community, and let's go. Let's move forward, making SPA a great place to have a great sim experience.
Absolutely. Guys, this is your SPA Commish Corner show for the week. Make sure you get over to this dude's stream. Make sure you show him some love. When you have these podcasts, I know that you mentioned that a lot of them were in Portuguese, but you did say a couple of them were in English, correct?
Yeah. Sometimes I have some guests from the US, and I talk in English with them, then talk Portuguese a little bit for people who can't understand. All right. But I hope I can share this episode on my channel too. I will post it there. Some people will watch and will enjoy it for sure.
Yo, I already told you, if at any point you want me to auto-post every single thing you post, I don't care if it's in English, I don't care if it's in Portuguese, I don't care if you learn Chinese and you start doing your own Chinese podcast like for those. Anything that you put out there, we want to make sure that we are promoting, we are helping you reach the levels that you are wanting to get to. If there's anything at the SPA community that we can do to help you on that journey, man, just reach out and I'll do everything that I can.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
FH, man, I really appreciate your time. You were an awesome interview. Guys, that was the Commish Corner show for this week. I'll see y'all next week.